Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to apologise now if my phone bleeps. It's always going crazy. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I put it on silent, but it just doesn't seem to want to go on silent even when I do put it on silent. Not sure why that is. Anyway, I want to try and get through the plants regarding the rose and thorn after the mandrake, which can be feminine or masculine. And I read that, I think it was on one of the last ones I did for the rose and thorn. The next one would be Vervain, and you would do it in that order. You would go the rose and the thorn, then you would do the mandrake, and then you would do Vervain. The mandrake masculine is mandragoro, and the female is mandragora. But I did that last time, so Vervain. The Vervain spirit is feminine, said to be feminine, and is more likely to come after sunset, Mondays and Fridays. I don't know why, but those are the days. There is a reason behind that. Her name is Benya. This is Benya, but it's pronounced Benn, so Ben, Yor, and that's Yaw, Benyor. And she brings humans in contact with the Fae race. She is the one that comes in after the mandrake to make that Fae connection. Again, you would connect to the rose and thorn, connect to your mandrake. When you're ready to get to Vervain, you still have to call in your mandrake first, then call in Vervain, because remember, our mandrake is a door opener, the one that opens all the doors. So for every single connection, the mandrake has to be there to open the door. When you are doing your ritual, it does require always a black pentagon, for obvious reasons. The rose and thorn sigil, which I've shown you. And it's always nice to have a red rose too, if you can. If you can't have a red rose that's real, then try a plastic one, and then always have your triangle of 3 leaves. I don't use real leaves, and it's never affected me because I just won't take them unless I find rose leaves that I'm not going to take them off the plant. So I tend to use painted ones. They seem to appreciate that actually. And all you do is you sew them into a triangle. So you take your point to point and then lay one across at the bottom, and that's a triangle because the triangle's very important, the pentagon's important, and then your seal for your Vervain, mandrake, rose and thorn are all important. What I'm going to do, because it's a lot of work, I understand, I was thinking of a way that I could draw you their name, because their name is actually written in Arabic, and I tried on the few paint apps, but I didn't like how it turned out. So I'm going to do them on paper, and I'll upload them separately so that you can see the name and then how it's spelled in its original form. That's what I'll do. And if you want me to write down the actual chanting, I can do that as well. The calling of them, so to speak. I can also put that in a separate video and write it all down. I do actually sell these that I have, but you don't need to buy them or anything. Like I say, I'm putting them on YouTube, so it doesn't really matter. But I do have particular things that I sell, like the greenwood emblem of the Fairies Creed and things like that. But I only sell to certain people. I'm not daft. I won't just sell to anyone. So Benya will connect you with the Fey realm after the Mandrake. This is how you would call. You are she of the covenant between witches and fae, made in times of old, in times of gold, and you have held true to this day. Steer onwards in the mortal realm and in fairyland beyond. History turns to legend and then into song. The greenwood emblem of the fairies' creed. Blossom, blossom is the word that actually lies unseen, and in between, hollow hills and hollow trees, all that's hidden ways mortals and fae centre the ones who know in ancient ways. I call you here to thorn-blooded witch, to pass fervent veils. Come to thorn-blooded witch here who hails. I reach out from a time that was honoured and full of power, by seed, sprout, budded leaves, and by the flower. That's how you first call on Vervain, and you will have your Vervain seal. You will have your Mandrake seal, your Rose and Thorn. Your Rose and Thorn seal is just there, just for the connection, and you don't need to do anything with it. You will need your black pentagon, and what you need to do is place down your black pentagon, and then your Mandrake seal needs to go on first. Connect to your Mandrake, call in the Mandrake to guide you to Vervain. Then, after doing that, you will put your triangle, your leaf triangle, point to point with your pentagon, so that the triangle point of the leaves are facing you and the pentagon is facing away. Now, the Mandrake then goes onto the leaves, and your Vervain then goes onto your pentagon. And as you obviously state that you're calling in Vervain, you leave it on the pentagon and you keep your hand on it. It's very important to not let go of that connection until the call is completely finished. Once you have finished, you then need to take the 3 triangle leaves, put them on top of the Mandrake. Then Vervain needs to go on top of those leaves. So essentially you have your Mandrake seal, your triangle of leaves, and then your Vervain. Put them back on the pentagon and wait a while. Just wait, just sort of sit and meditate and envision, and in your mind seek for what it is you want, of course. You see, once you've connected to these 3, the rest you just call. You use the seal, but you just call. You don't have to keep going through the whole ritual process. The others follow, but these three in particular are very important. Once that connection's made, though, it's made. So remember that any other time when you're using your seals and calling them in, you don't need to do it. You won't need to do the whole connecting thing. Just have all your seals to hand and obviously state what you want. You don't have to go through all the rigmarole every time. but I'll explain that as we go along. So let's say you'd already connected to your rose and then your mandrake and then your vervain. You've already connected. So after you do this connection with vervain, ideally you are meant to sleep for 3 nights with the sachet that you had your mandrake in. You would put your vervain seal and some vervain in that bag with the mandrake and the mandrake seal, and put it under your pillow and sleep on it for 3 nights. But you see, then after that, you're connected. The connection's made. But you must always remember that when you're calling them in, you don't need to set all up like you just did do. You can if you want. You can always put your seals out, just for aid, for your benefit, visual effect, you know. But when you are calling again, you still do have to at least say to the mandrake, Mandrake, can you please open the door? That's a thing that always has to be done, is the opening of the door. It's very important with the mandrake controlling the door. You definitely need permission to have that door opened so that the others can come in. But once that connection's made, remember, the next time you were doing a ritual, for example, you could just pop the seals in front of you and you can just sit at your altar and simply ask. That is it. Call to Vervain, call Benya, and ask what you want. You don't have to go all the way through that again. Once it's done, it is done. The connection's made for life. But remember, if you stray from the path and if you don't keep your connection up, let's say, at least twice a week, talk to them, interact, anything. But if you lose that and you lose track, yes, you will have to connect all over again because you'll lose your connection. And believe me, you get told off for that, I can assure you. I know that I did. I'm just, let me light my cig, guys, 2 minutes. So once that connection's made and you popped under your pillow, you slept for 3 nights, you now have your little sachet with your mandrake, with your vervain and seals. You should hopefully have found a stone that will be your ghost stone by now on the floor, a pebble or anything that just looks out of place, like I said in the other one. Now you can connect to all the others. You can ask them for various things. You do not need the actual plant. If you can get some of the plant, that's fantastic. If you're growing it, that's even better. But you don't essentially need it. A picture and your seal is enough. It really is. You do not need to reconnect with going through all the pentagon and the triangle. You do not need that now. All you need is to simply say, Mandrake, I wish to connect to, state whichever plant, please open the door and show me to them. Because the idea is they come to you. So, you know, Mandrake's got to open that door and allow the other plant spirit to see us. That's how it works. So, Rue is, well, the name for Rue is Trinua, and it's spelled Trinua. It is pronounced Trin, Trin, and New, Newah. Ha, Trinua. I'm sorry about my phone. I really do apologise. Why do they all come through at once? I have no idea. This is the plant to connect to on a Monday, Tuesday, or Saturday. Anytime. Time doesn't matter. They protect, they reflect and get rid of or dissipate any ill-intended enchantments, any ill intent towards you. It will be reflected straight back to that person. And this is how you would call Trinua in. You are she who dispels all enemy and every single ill intent. You are the defender at the watch, until all their ugly venom is spent. Garden sentinel, purifier of the brew. As the sign, one of the secret few, this is you. The greenwood emblem of the witch's creed, tree of the land that lies unseen, and the triple branches, ill enchantments, base begone. Gifts of white round lady are there for the witch's claim. Come to the thorn-blooded witch who hails. I do call you, I call you here through verdant vales, from a time honoured with power, by seed, sprout, budding leaves and flowers. And that's how you would call in your rue. And then from that day forward, your rue will be there to deflect anything that is sent your way that is ill-intended. But do remember that they see pure of heart. So if you're not pure of heart, they're going to see, the spirits are going to see. That's how it works. But she is probably one of the nicest to work with. She's not got a temper at all. She's actually quite easygoing. And she will stand by you through a lot of things, I would say. So she's one of the more placid energies. Let's put it that way. It's probably the best way to put it. She's a placid energy. Nightshade. I'll do Nightshade and I will end it there because there's lots of others to go through. These are like the main sentinels though, that I'm telling you, before all the plants that come underneath them. There's quite a few main sentinels to go through. Nightshade has a temperament and respect Nightshade because it's like very feisty. She's very feisty. Her name's Atropa and it is spelled Atropa, but it is pronounced Atrowpah. Atropa. She is the keeper of secrets, but she's also the revealer of secrets, so you must keep on her good side if you decide to give her secrets. She's also the revealer, so do be wise to that. The best times to connect to Atropa is Mondays and the hours of 3, 6 and 9 only. Now, the reason is because of those hours are significant to her in particular. If you research, I'm sure you'll come up with different... There's so many different reasons why. Honestly, there's thousands of reasons why. And I think it's just personal perception, really, with everyone. To call Atropa to you. You are she of hidden nights, where all the shadows form in mystic, beautiful light. Beauty in glade and in the glen, where life is gathered, then to return yet again. The giver of visions, the dream gifter queen, peering into all that can never be seen. Blackness gathers as a great hooded cloak, hushing the ancient words that must always, always remain unspoken. Come to the thorn-blooded witch who hails. I call you to pass through the verdant vales. I reach out from the time-honoured power, by seed sprout, budded leaf and flower. And that's how you would call in Atropa. And like I say, she does have a bit of a feisty temper, but she's allowed to. She works well with you as long as you respect her. I've seen her be disrespected and I've seen the consequences, and it's not very good, to say the least. We have like the main sentinels. I think we have like, well, at least a good 7 maybe to get through now after these. But I do want to know if you want me to write things out for you, because that can be done. It's definitely possible. I don't mind doing it at all. But I want to do it in a way that you can see it properly, rather than just squiggle it on screen. That doesn't really work. So those are some more plants you can connect with, and for those reasons, once you call them, you do not have to send them on their way by. It's not like that with this. This is not how it works. They can stay with you as long as they like. They can come and go as they please. You can return them if you wish and call them back in whenever. You can keep them with you for months, for days. It's not like a circle. When you are calling them in, you are calling them in to work with them, to connect to them, to learn their energies. So you do not have to rid them. You can go to bed and wake up still connected to them. You do not, there's none of that farewell or anything like that. Just when, let's say you want to stop the connection for a little while because it's heavy, or you're not coping too well with the amount of connections, then simply sit down and just say, Atropa. I am very grateful for your insight, and I am very grateful for your knowledge. I ask that you return and give me a rest and explain why, and tell her that you will call her back when you're ready. It's as simple as that. Respect, being grateful, and telling her that it got too much for you and you will call her back in when she's ready. And that's really the big difference, I think, as well, with when you're creating a circle and you're calling beings in and you're connecting to the energies and such. It is not like that with this. Once you're connected, and that connection needs to stay, and it stays for life. And it can be hard at first when the energies come in, and they're all different energies for different reasons. But once you learn to adjust, and once you learn which energy is what, and who that particular energy belongs to, you'll be surprised at the magic within yourself, let's say. Anyway, guys, love and light. There are more, and I will definitely find a way that I can write things out so that you can see them properly. And many, many blessings.